What do you think is the biggest challenge for people to get in the right shape as of today?
Excuses, man. We are so good at making excuses and so bad at making positive changes.
If you can give one tip to somebody that is not happy with the way that they look, what would that be?
If you're not happy with the way that you look, or you're not happy with anything in your life, please know that nothing is permanent. What got you here is also completely changeable starting today.
If somebody watching you right now and he wants to get in the best shape of his life, what is that 3 simple steps he can take today together?
Number 1, let's remember, why do you want it?
Do you believe being fat in today's days can make you depressed?
I believe that being fat or overweight can make you depressed if you're associating your self-worth with being fat and overweight.
Meet Julian Brass,
a renowned coach and mentor, transforming successful founders and executives into unstoppable lions.
What's going on, friends? Thank you so much for tuning in to another great episode of Tom Talks Success, where my goal is to bring you a lot of very successful entrepreneurs, people that have done a lot of stuff, and we just can learn from them, right? We can learn from their mistakes. We can learn from the stuff that they did good. And today I have a true pleasure to introduce a great friend of mine, Julian Brass. I've done a lot of amazing stuff, became a coach, a mentor, done a lot of stuff in the health space, helping a lot of entrepreneurs to get in better shape. What a pleasure, brother. Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, good morning.
How's your day going?
Good so far. I had coffee with you before. What could be better?
Yeah. I agree, man. So Julian, I would say let's just, jump right in it. You help a lot of men out there, people that struggle in the day-to-day, or just people that do a lot of stuff and doesn't prioritize maybe their health. What are some of the challenges that you see people going in their day-to-day stuff that they need to improve on?
Look, men are all chasing success. Okay, we all want to, be successful, create wealth, create abundance. We're all sort of chasing that same dream, especially in a place like Miami.
Yeah.
It's the glitz and the glamour, and who's wearing what watch and what car you driving, what's your house like. Everyone's chasing something, right? So the thing is, there's nothing wrong with chasing, material success. Material things are nice. I like material things too. The problem is that when we lose our health and our wellness, and we start to get lost in the race to acquire more things externally, you lose sight of what matters most, okay? Because a new watch or, a sick new car, yeah, it's great, but it's not gonna actually make you happy long-term at the end of the day. What it's gonna do is create instant gratification, okay? You're gonna be happy for a bit, but then you end up, if you don't have your health, you end up saying like, oh man, that new watch, it was cool for a few months or a year, but okay, now I need another new one. And in the process, if you lost your health on the way of trying to create the material gain, you end up saying like, well, hold on a second, the watch ain't doing it for me, but my health also sucks. So all of a sudden you feel like crap, okay? And you lost yourself in the process of chasing the thing. So what I want to help people do, and I want to help everyone here today in this podcast, is teach guys that you can go after the success, go after the fancy things, but you also can be healthy, fit, dialed in, okay, on the inner you while you go after all those things.
Why do you feel a lot of people are, want to get better in shape, want to get those abs in, but if you look at the statistics, most of the people fail in those aspects? Why is that?
Well, because the system they're usually trying to do, it doesn't work. Okay, and the system isn't just like, oh, what's the workout plan? Sure, it's partially what's the workout plan, but it's also partially the why behind what they're going after. The why. The why is so important. Why do you want the abs? Why do you want to be fit? Do you even know? See, if you're just, look, the abs, it's the same as the watch. It's chasing the external, okay? It doesn't bring deep meaning and happiness. What brings deep meaning and happiness, can you guess what it is?
The inside.
It's the inside, and it's who you have to become in order to get the thing. It's who you have to become in order to get the abs. It's who you have to become in order to get the sick watch, okay? That's what actually matters. That's the inner work. That's the development. So I always tell people, including myself, listen, I was a chubby guy most of my life, okay? Wow. The fact that I have abs at 42 years old, I would have never thought that was possible, man, honestly.
Pretty crazy.
So it's who I had to become. It's who you have to become in order to get the abs, okay? it's not the abs. It's all the beautiful, deep, hard inner work and transformation along the way, brother. It's the discipline, it's the sweat, it's the grind, it's the growth that we get when we say no to, another donut, or no to another ice cream, or no to the pizza, and then we say yes to me, yes to my health, yes to my vitality, and I'm a guy who's very connected to God. I'm a proud Jew, and I'm very connected to Hashem. And my clients are all Jewish men. It's saying no to all that crap outside and saying yes to being a better version of ourselves. And by saying yes to being a better version of ourselves, what happens? We say yes to Hashem.
Real quick, before we keep with this episode, if you're watching this and you're building a business or a brand and you got a story people need to hear, for the first time, I'm opening spots for guests to join my podcast. Here is what you will get. We filmed the full episode in the studio, and my team takes care of literally everything, the editing, the posting, all of it totally for you guys. In addition, you'll get between 3 to 5 reels from the episode, and we'll also collab together on social media so you can get even more exposure. If you want to be on, comment podcast in the comment section below and my team will reach out to you. Now let's get back to the episode. Do you see a correlation, if you believe in God, do you see a correlation to being more successful?
What is success?
That's a good question. What is success to you? What do you classify as a success?
I like how you threw that back to me. Success to me is living a life that is aligned to your inner values. Okay, so what are your values? That's the next question. We need to know what our values are. When we can figure out what our values are, like, do I want the fancy home? Do I want the beautiful watch? Or do I want a more quiet, peaceful life in the country somewhere, right? Do I want to be married with kids? Do I not want to be married with kids? Do I want to be married with no kids?
I see what you're
what
saying.
are my values, okay? So we got to figure that part out first. We figure out what our values are, and then we can determine, well, what is success to me? It's not what success to my mother or success to my father or what, my buddy wants of me or what you think is successful.
Everything is different, you're saying.
Yeah, it's individual. It's an individual thing. So once you know what success is, right? And I think for most men, okay, especially guys, who I talk to, it's like, they want to live a life of abundance. Okay, so they want to live a high quality of life, a high standard of life. They want the freedom of kind of doing what they want to do when they want to do it within reason.
Yep.
That's part success. Most of my guys, they want to be, great fathers, great husbands. That's success. They want to have a healthy, fit body and a health fit mind. That's success, right? And then of course they want, lots of savings, lots of great investments, lots of things that they can fall back on.
Yep.
You put it all together, and provided that you're living a life of purpose. So like, aside from everything we just mentioned, you're actually professionally doing something that has some purpose behind it. That's a successful life.
Why do you think that, there's so many people in today's days that want to get in shape, they want to get, the abs. Do you think is that to maybe, get those good looking girls or impress somebody? Do you think most of the people do those stuff to impress somebody, or it's because they want it for themselves actually?
I think when you're young, you do it to impress somebody. When you get to be an old guy like me, or my clients, we call my clients lions. When you become a lion and you enter a different stage of life, you're not trying to get fit because you want to chase more women, like especially if you're married.
Yeah.
Okay, it's you want to feel a certain way. Okay, a man who's in his 40s and who has muscle, who has real strength, who doesn't have a big belly every time he sits down. Okay, he doesn't have to pull his shirt to hide his stomach rolls and his man boobs. That man, he carries himself differently. With his kids, he's a strong dad. With his wife, she can't keep her hands off of him. When he goes into the boardroom or into that investor pitch, he's looks like Superman. That man is an ideal man. That's success.
So you see when you look good, it can have a lot more benefit in like your business world and also like your day-to-day life. It's not just you saying to look good is like, oh, okay, like you're looking good. You're saying like you're seeing like an actual benefit in your day-to-day life.
Looking good will create more opportunities and more wealth.
100% you're saying.
100%. But if you become super vain about your looks and that's all you're chasing is I want to look good, I want to look good, I want to look good, and I'm not enough if I don't look good, then you're leaving the whole purpose on the table. You're missing the point. Okay. So you take care of yourself. You honor yourself by living healthy, by working out, by eating well, by, make sure that your mind is in the right place. You're giving gratitude. You're connecting to a bigger purpose. Okay. You do all that. Then all of a sudden, not only do you look good, but your energy is just contagious. And people around you are like, who is this guy? What's going on here? But it's not because you have the best hairline or the best abs. No, it's because you are a healthy, vibrant man.
I see that, a lot of people that are healthy, they're feeding, they're looking good. They're attracting not just, women and stuff like that. They're also attracting a lot of men behind them. They're building a community. They're like a leader in a way. What is your take on that?
Look, we have a lot of men in our community, okay, at my business, Fit Founder Over 40. And these are all super successful guys, and they all want to be a part of a network of other men who are living a life of fitness, wellness, health, while being busy, successful founders and executives, okay? So people want to roll and be around like-minded people, okay? If you're a guy who, said, okay, I've hit a high level of financial success, and now I really need to prioritize my health, okay? But your buddies still just want to go to the restaurant or the nightclub and pop bottles, and you're like, I have a different path now that I want to lean into. You got to make new friends.
Yep.
You need a different network, right? So we try to provide that through ours.
I see that. Are you a business owner, real estate investor, or high income earner and you're earning good money? This is for you. I sit down with high earners every single week and I see the same issue over and over again. You are making good money, but you don't have a real plan. You are not sure how to pay less in taxes. You are not sure how to grow and protect your wealth the right way. That's what I'm here for. I help people just like you to simplify everything into one clear plan so you get to keep more, protect what you build, and build long-term wealth the right way. Here is what I'm offering. For the first time ever, I'm opening a limited number of one-on-one Zoom call reviews where I'll personally review exactly what you have in place and show you the top 3 things I would change first, so you leave with clear next steps either way. No pressure. Even if we don't work together, at least you'll know what's your next steps. There's only few spots available, so make sure to click the link in the description and book your Zoom call. Alright guys, let's get back to the episode. Let's say you're a fat guy and you want to lose weight. What is the best 3 tips you can give him?
So you're a heavy guy, you want to lose weight. Number 1, why do you want to lose weight? It starts with that, okay? I always, whenever I'm on a podcast or an interview, it's like people are like, what's the first thing is why? Why does it matter, okay? Why does it matter? Learn why, and then you become unstoppable. Second is tap into something bigger than you. So attach your why to something bigger. Okay, and now you're even more unstoppable. The third is you need to be educated, okay? Learn about nutrition, learn about calories, learn about macros, learn about exercise. Not every way of exercising is equal, okay? You gotta understand these things because if I go to the gym and Joe goes to the gym, and let's call him Johnny. If I go to the gym and Johnny goes to the gym, and I know what I'm doing, but Johnny doesn't really know what he's doing, we are going to go for the same amount of time and leave with completely different results. Okay?
Wow. And why do you feel like, if you look in the statistics, I think like 95 or 96% of the United States people, or probably in the world, are never going to get in shape or to be exactly where they want to be. Why is it like that?
Excess, man. We're in a world of excess. The meals are huge. We are eating when we're bored. We're taking in preservatives all the time. We're inflamed, right? We are just like excess, gobble, gobble, more and more. That's what's up. That's what's up. We need to change our relationship with food, our relationship with alcohol, our relationship with life. And then all of a sudden, we can just live the very, very best life possible.
How do you bottle that? Where like somebody's, like they're sitting home, they're watching TV and they just want to take something, they want to eat something. Why is it happening to us?
Well, it's partially because we're bored, okay? And it's like an activity that feels soothing, okay? A lot of people use food to soothe. A lot of people do. I used to do this all the time. I use food to soothe. Going through something, having a tough day, breakup, work is stressful, the wife, the kids, eat something. Drink something. Okay, so that's part of it. The other thing is that a lot of us have addictive personalities, whether we want to admit it or not, whether we even know it or not. If eating food after dinner in front of the TV becomes something that you just do for, a few weeks or a few months straight, next thing you know, it's an addictive thing. You don't even know you're doing it. It's just how you live. Okay? But you're addicted to that nice, warm feeling of having something to chew on at nighttime.
That's crazy.
That's how it works, man. Right? We're very addictive beings. So you need to be aware. Am I in the driver's seat of my life? Am I calling the shots? Or is this action just something that I've become so used to that I'm sort of addicted to it?
What I feel like even sometimes happen to me is like, like you mentioned, it's nighttime, you're getting back home from work and you see that cake and you see that good stuff and like something in your brain is telling you, no, it's not good for you. But then the other part is saying, oh, come on, like eat it, nothing will happen.
Right.
What's going on in that process?
Well, you're look from a religious Jewish perspective. There's the Yetzer Hara, which is like the evil inclination. Okay, other religions or thoughts would call it the self-sabotage or the saboteur.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay, it's like you are going to battle with yourself.
That's what it is.
That's what's up, man. You're going to battle with yourself.
And what's the best tips to deal with those stuff?
When you are going to battle with yourself and there's something that you're telling yourself you want to do, but your higher self tells you shouldn't do it, it's all about breaking the pattern, changing your state fast. Okay, so you're tempted by that chocolate cake, right?
Yep.
Okay, say no chocolate cake, go do 10 push-ups.
Just like that.
Just like that. No chocolate cake, go for a walk. No chocolate cake, go do a 5-minute breathwork meditation. Okay? I think all that stuff, especially push-ups, amazing. Especially if you're a guy, go bang out some push-ups and talk to yourself and ask yourself, not how do I want to feel now? How do I want to feel tomorrow morning? I have never once said no to the ice cream or the cake and regretted it the next day.
I see what you're saying. So, because it happens to me all the time. Like, I love sweet stuff, and I feel like a lot of the people in the audience, the kind of the same thing. Could be, for some people, pizzas, the good stuff, right? And it just found like it's so crazy because sometimes, you see it and then like you just want to eat it. So I was thinking maybe if I put like a picture of like, I don't know, my stomach or something, or if I'm not happy with it, like that will help.
That's a cool idea.
But I don't know what you think about like good ways to kind of help with those stuff for the people that watch it.
Look, if you want to make a lot of money and you don't have a plan to do so, you're not going to make a lot of money. Okay, if you want to build a great business and you don't have a plan to build that great business, you're not going to build a great business. If you want to build an incredible body and an incredible healthy lifestyle where you are dialed in and vibrant and confident and in charge and energized and clear, if you don't have a plan to do so, it ain't going to happen. Okay, we need to have the plan in order to get it. Okay, when it comes to, what do I do when the temptation is strong? You got to ask yourself again, where am I going? Where am I going? Why am I going there? What do I want most? Okay. And I tell everybody, here's the good thing. When it comes to like saying no to sweets and saying no to alcohol, I promise you that stuff is always going to be there. Okay. But what won't always be there is your motivation to go from here to get to the goal, to transform your body, transform your mind, transform your life. That won't always be here. Meditation. Motivation is not always available. It's a short time span. So we have to take advantage of the fact when we're motivated. Okay, if you want to go crush those abs and like have that six pack, you want to go and lose 50 pounds. You want to go and build a new routine where you're exercising every day. You want to build the discipline to not have to have the sweets or the pizza unless you really think it's time to have the sweets or the pizza. Not when that little voice in your head is saying it's time to have the sweets or the pizza. It only happens when you get in control. And it's one of the most empowering things in the world, okay? And here's the thing though, like I said, the bad shit, it's always gonna be available. It's not going anywhere. So I tell everybody, if you're here and you wanna go to here, get here and then treat yourself to some of those things. But do it as a guy who's in shape. Do it as a guy who's confident.
I love it.
Not a guy who's shaming himself as he's eating it.
Which most of the people are.
Totally.
Alright guys, I have a quick question for all of you. Have you ever watched one of my episodes and thought, I wish I could ask this guest some questions? Well, after a lot of thoughts, how can I make the guest speakers more accessible to you guys? I'm finally launching Tom Talks Success SKOOL community. It's a private community where you get weekly calls with me and selected guests from the podcast. You can personally ask the guest speakers anything about business, money, mindset, growth, whatever you're trying to level up in. You will also get early access to private events, and you will have the chance to connect with other successful entrepreneurs inside the community so you can build your network as well. I want to give you all of this totally for free. Just comment community in the comment section below and my team will send it to you totally for free. Now let's get back to the podcast. What do you think about looking back at your life, right? Is there some...
I'm not that old, come on.
If there is something you would have done differently, is there something you would have done differently in your life?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Maybe if you can share some big challenges you had or something you went through and you learned something from that.
Okay, look, when it comes to health and fitness, that's an easy one. What I would have done differently is that I wouldn't have waited so long to actually get in great shape. Because the shift that a guy needs to make to go from his starting point to here, if that's the goal, it's no harder to get here than it is to stay here. In fact, it's easier to stay here than it is to get here. So get the hard part out of the way so that you can stop wasting your precious hours of life thinking about getting in shape, getting the body you want, developing the lifestyle you want, and just get to the goal. And then you actually can work way less hard, but you get to enjoy living that day in, day out.
You saying we spend a lot of, not money, I'm sorry, a lot of time and energy.
And money, you're right.
And money probably, yeah. To like try to get that level, but a lot of time instead of just trying it and overthinking it, you're saying just do it.
If you just do it and you say to yourself, I'm just gonna get there as fast as possible, okay, without sacrificing my mental health, okay?
Yep.
That's key. But I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna stop making excuses, okay? I'm just gonna do it. You're gonna get there in, most guys, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months max, okay? And then once you're there, life is so much easier because you can just stay there. And then you make, systems where, in my case, once a week, I let myself have a pint of ice cream or something like that, or a couple really good cookies.
Yeah.
Man, I still have abs the next day. It's no problem. But for 20 years, I was trying to lose my belly. And instead, I never got to the goal. So instead, for those 20 years, I'm like, oh man,
that's a good point.
This shirt doesn't fit me well. I don't want to take my shirt off at the pool. I don't really want to, I'm at the beach trip and there's a picture opportunity with my friends or my partner. And it's like, oh no, hold on, let me get my shirt. Like, you don't want to live like that. Just get to the goal and then stay there.
Do you believe being fat in today's days can make you depressed?
It's a great question. It's not that black and white. I believe that being fat or overweight can make you depressed if you're associating your self-worth with being fat and overweight. Okay? It's the lack of self-worth that will make you feel depressed. It's not that you're fat, because I know a lot of very happy fat people. Okay? If they want to be overweight for the rest of their lives, if they're cool with that and they're not secretly judging themselves and saying, I really wish I wasn't, then they're good. Hey, all the power to you, no problem, right? It comes down to that person's values.
I'm trying to figure out if, like, let's say a fat guy can be as confident as a very strong guy.
100% they can. For sure. In fact, I know some really, really confident, overweight people, and I think they're fantastic. They're awesome.
They're very confident.
They're
about
amazing.
themselves.
They're amazing. But the gap is this.
What's the gap?
Let's walk it forward. Okay, so you're in your 40s and you're overweight. You're also really confident. Cool. I respect that you're confident, even though you're overweight, because at the end of the day, who you are as a person is what matters the most. Agreed. Let's play it forward, though. If you're super overweight, what happens when you're in your 60s and 70s? You start getting health problems. Then what? Are you still going to be confident and proud of yourself for the choices you made? If you are, cool, all the power to you. But if you're not, And if you realize that I'm actually being selfish by being overweight all these years because now I got a wife and kids and they want dad and husband to be happy, healthy, able to provide and to be on his own 2 feet, not in the hospital, then you probably won't be happy anymore. You probably won't feel confident anymore. You're going to regret the decision.
I love that. You seeing being fat is also being selfish in a way.
In a way, it is 100%. Look, if you've got people to provide for, and your weight and your lifestyle habits are not allowing you to provide, and the fact that you might be able to send your kids to private school and buy your daughter a sick car at 16 years old, if you're not healthy enough to be there to like walk with her, to the park or walk her down the aisle when she's in her whatever age when she gets married, right? Then all of a sudden the things you bought don't matter. Okay? Yeah, that was nice of you. Cool, great. Kol hakavod, good job. Yeah. Okay, but what about the fact that you're not there to actually give her you? That matters the most. So your question, can you be, is it selfish to be overweight? Well, I think that it depends on how overweight you are, but if it's debilitating your lifestyle, then I say absolutely. And I got to tell you, Tom, I have so many men who come to me and, they're making 7 figures a year. They're billionaires. They have huge companies, huge exits, you name it. And they say, I have given everything to my family, but I have forgotten to give it to me.
Wow.
And I feel like crap. I snore. I can't sleep well. My wife wants me sleeping in the guest room because I'm so hard to sleep next to.
I fear that a lot.
My clothes don't fit anymore. My energy's crap. I have brain fog. These guys, I want to just like really say this to all your viewers and listeners. Like, these are good men. They're not selfish because they want to be selfish and they let themselves get that way. They let themselves get overweight because they were caring so much about the people they love.
I agree. And they were busy with their day-to-day too, like life, businesses.
They use the food to soothe, like we spoke about, because they were so stressed out building their empire. And then they say, wait a second, okay, I can exhale, and now I can think about me.
So I watched this reel, Andy Elliott, you probably know him. He was talking about how, a kid going to the pool and then his dad sitting there, super overweight. And then there's another kid. His dad is like, huge, strong, healthy, building empire. And then he saw like, which kid would you want to be? And I was thinking about it. I was like, hopefully one day I'll have some kids. And then I said to myself, like, I want my kid to look at me and be like, wow, this guy is a freaking man. You know what I mean? What is your take on that?
It's a great question. Thinking about how you show up in your kid's world is very, very important. It's 100%. If you're going to be that guy who's 50 pounds overweight, no matter how much money you've made, you've got to remember your kids are watching you. Your kids are watching every move you make. And you don't become 50 pounds overweight because you were living life with consciousness, with mindfulness, with awareness.
Yep.
You do it because you're passively eating, maybe drinking, giving into your cravings and the need for instant gratification. Boom, 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 boom. The children want to see a parent who is in control of their life, and they look up to that. So 100%, it is very important. And that goes back to why do we want to be fit, right? A why for a man could be, I want to be fit because I want my children to have an amazing role model of a parent.
And then what do you see that, parents are missing in educate them or educate themselves about that? Like, I feel like there's a lot of miseducation in the soul space.
People are not educated enough, okay? They don't understand that, so much of the food that we eat today in America is full of chemicals and preservatives that are causing disease, causing cancer, causing inflammation, messing with your skin, messing with your energy. It's so common and it's happening again and again and again. If parents can set a tone in the home that, we celebrate healthy eating, we celebrate clean food, And it's not being imprisoned. It's actually being
Being
free.
free.
Exactly. And you're having fun with food, and you're giving gratitude for good food. That's what really it's all about.
Real quick, before we keep with this episode, if you're watching this and you're building a business or a brand and you got a story people need to hear, for the first time I'm opening spots for guests to join my podcast. Here's what you will get. We filmed the full episode in the studio and my team takes care of literally everything, the editing, the posting, all of it totally for you guys. In addition, you'll get between 3 to 5 reels from the episode, and we'll also collab together on social media so you can get even more exposure. If you want to be on, comment podcast in the comment section below and my team will reach out to you. Now let's get back to the episode. Do you think that a lot of cheatings in today's days are happening because the men out there are not where they needs to be, and the wife, after 10, 20, 30 years of marriage, she's getting unattractive to their man anymore, and then that could lead to cheating?
We have a tagline in some of our marketing material, which is for the guys. It says, "Give your wife back the man she married." Okay.
What do you think about that? Because I feel like it's an actual thing, and I feel like a lot of men out there needs to like take themselves serious, because like it could be dangerous.
Hey, listen. Can I get a bit vulgar on
Yeah,
your
sure.
podcast?
I'm actually curious about like your thoughts on this.
If you're a man who's super overweight, you probably haven't even seen your own penis in a long time, unless you're looking in a mirror. You look down, all you see is your belly. How do you think your wife feels?
Wow.
Okay. A lot of guys after dinner, they're going to, roll away from the table bloated and exhausted. Okay. Not energized and like, "Hey babe, how you doing? How you doing?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I mean, would you want to sleep with you right now? Would you, like, come on,
I agree.
So, and listen, when you're in your 20s, you guys get a lot, when you're in your 20s, you guys get away with a lot more than when you're in your 40s and 50s.
Because you can.
You can. You got more energy. Guys in their 40s and 50s, if you're rolling away from the table, it's like, dude, like, come on, bro. Like, your wife is not interested.
So let's digest that, right? So you're a man in your 40s and 50, you're overweight, you don't look good, your wife is tired of you because you're not attractive anymore. She doesn't get excited from you. I see it as a way of like divorce coming up, cheating maybe. I mean, I know I'm going to the extreme, but I think it's starting from there. Maybe I'm wrong, but
we want to believe that there's more to the marriage than,
just that.
yeah, than like, are you in good shape? We want to believe that, but we could talk about attraction.
Yeah, because like, I feel like if you're not in a good shape, the wife in some days, she's gonna go out, she's gonna see like some other man attractive, and her thought is gonna be like.
So what I want to invite is that she and he have an open communication, that they can talk about the fact that she's losing sexual interest in her man because of his body and his lifestyle choices.
Agreed.
Hey babe, let's talk about it. Hey, what do you say we go call Julian? No, I'm kidding. No,
Yeah.
What do you say we start prioritizing our health? What do you say? Now that's a beautiful way to communicate, and a beautiful way for the two to come together as a team and start prioritizing their health. I've seen a lot of amazing couples shift together, and both of them lose the weight, and both of them start to say, wow, fitness is a way of life. This is a way better life than eating and drinking all the time. This is awesome. I have so many men who come to me, and next thing you know, the wife is along for the ride, and they are like the fit couple together. Okay. They start looking younger, feeling younger, having more intimacy, they can't keep their hands off each other. Their kids start to get more into this. It's a beautiful thing.
So much, by the way, so much benefits from that too. It's like they're getting healthy. They're probably doing better in business. They're doing better with their kids. So like, that's what we need to understand, that fitness and being like healthy is just so much more than just, being in shape. And I want to ask you, so, we were talking about the men's not being in shape, but the same thing goes for the woman. If you're a woman out there, you're 40, you're 50, you're, I don't know, like even 30s, and, you're getting married, but that's it. You're not taking care of you. You're not working out. You're not being in shape. I mean, the guy in some way, shape, or form can also, saying like, that's not who I married with, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And so talk to us about what's going on there in those couples, in those situations, and how can people learn from that?
Well, so you immediately get divorced when that happens. No, I'm joking. Okay. I'm joking. Listen, it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. You have to approach it very, very wisely, with compassion, with empathy. I think it's just, in any good relationship, you really need to be gentle in how you communicate. But at the same time, we need to communicate, otherwise resentment builds. Okay? So often I think we forget to have the conversation. Instead, we build this conversation up in our mind, and then all of a sudden we're more disconnected from our partner. Okay? So it goes both ways. Look, a lot of people rush to the chuppah, or to be on the aisle as their best selves, and then as soon as it's like the knot is tied, all right, my real self comes out.
Yeah,
okay.
right. And that's what happened.
Sure. And it's comfortable. There's something sweet and beautiful about being able to just be like, okay, we're safe together. Of course. But if we play the record out, as they say, and you start thinking, steps ahead, many years from now, it is not sustainable to live a life that is not built around healthy living. It's not sustainable, because the food, unhealthy eating, it catches up to you. If you're drinking too much alcohol, it catches up to you. If you're not taking care of yourself, it catches up to you. We are not these beings that don't get old naturally. We do. Our biological clock is ticking. Okay? So we're getting older. We have to therefore prioritize and use science and use lifestyle habits and use all these amazing modalities to say, how can I age gracefully? Because again, if you're just out of shape, drinking too much alcohol, all that stuff, it's not just about how you end up looking, but it's what's happening inside. Your mental health suffers, your vibe goes down, your happiness is less. All of a sudden, nothing is good unless I got the food or the drink, right? That's not a person that people really want to be with, including your partner. And think about it. It's like you're dependent on another drink in order to be social. You're dependent on, that fancy dinner in order to have a good night out. Like, what kind of life is that if you're dependent on something?
Are you a business owner, real estate investor, or high income earner, and you're earning good money? This is for you. I sit down with high earners every single week, and I see the same issue over and over again. You are making good money, but you don't have a real plan. You are not sure how to pay less in taxes. You are not sure how to grow and protect your wealth the right way. That's what I'm here for. I help people just like you to simplify everything into one clear plan, so you get to keep more, protect what you build, and build long-term wealth the right way. Here is what I'm offering. For the first time ever, I'm opening a limited number of one-on-one Zoom call reviews where I'll personally review exactly what you have in place and show you the top 3 things I would change first, so you leave with clear next steps either way. No pressure. Even if we don't work together, at least you'll know what's your next steps. There's only few spots available, so make sure to click the link in the description and book your Zoom call. Alright guys, let's get back to the episode. I saw a few days ago, there's on Instagram, there's a girl that's saying hey, I'm overweight and I'm happy being overweight. And there's a guy out there saying you should not be happy being overweight. Do you think that overweight people can still be happy with that, or it's something that they need to get taken care of?
You can be happy and overweight if that is good with how you want to live your life, okay? But then again, we got to think bigger. If you've got 2 daughters or 2 sons, it doesn't make a difference. You got a couple kids and you're overweight, and now you're not able to be a high-functioning mother or father. Are you still happy?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? If you all of a sudden are taking all sorts of medication because your cholesterol's through the roof and, you're pre-diabetic and, now you have heart issues or whatever the case might be, right? Are you still happy? Okay. If you are overweight and, your life is just not as productive and vibrant as it could be because you're tired all the time and you're in the bathroom half the day because your stomach's hurting, then your profession is now slipping. Are you happy? Okay.
I see now what you're coming from. I see that being yes, you might be happy right now, But that's how you kind of also becoming selfish, because problems gonna come, and then your family needs to leave their work or your kids need to leave their stuff to deal with you and help you, just because you didn't want to help yourself.
You got it. There's so many people right now who are sick. Okay, they're in the hospital, they're at home, they're sick. Something is going on, and so much of this could have been prevented if they were living a better lifestyle. Okay, people are like, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. You're not a victim. You put yourself here. Okay, so that's where it matters. We have to stop saying it's that person's fault or I have bad luck, and it's like, no. What have you been eating for the past 10 years? How have you been living? Have you gone to the gym? Have you taken care of yourself? Yeah, I went to the gym, what, for all of January, and then you gave up like everybody else? And what did you do at the gym? You were stretching all the time? You were on your phone scrolling? What were you doing? You were watching everyone and judging them? What were you doing? Less judgment of others, more judgment with love of ourselves.
What do you think that is the biggest challenge for people to get in the right shape as of today?
Excuses. Excuses, man. You know, we are so good at making excuses and so bad at making positive changes. It's a phenomenon of the human experience. Stop making excuses, stop believing your own BS, and start saying, I can do it. And you know what's a really good tip? If you don't think you can do it, look at someone near you who's doing it and say to yourself, well, if that asshole can do it, why can't I?
I love that. Let's talk about also, you know, like I'm sure some girls gonna see it, some women here. What is the best tip for a woman to get in the right shape?
Listen, first of all, I actually only help men. Okay. So I'm sorry to all the women.
If you can give us like one tip.
One tip to get in shape, it is to understand how your metabolic system works. Understand how your metabolism works. Okay. Women, depending on their stage of life, it really does change a lot. So they need to understand how it is working based on where they are in their life at that time. And then they can really start to see some amazing results.
We talked about men in their 40s and 50s that go through a lot. They're building a business. They're very busy. They have kids to raise. And a lot of times they just don't really have the time. They don't really have the time to go to the gym, work out. What is your take on that?
Every man has the time to do a certain amount. Not everyone has the time to go 7 days a week to the gym for 2 hours. Okay, I got that, no problem. But every man has some time, and they can make that time. Okay, my entire system is built to be the most efficient, effective way for men over 40 to get in the best shape of their lives and stay there. Okay, so it's all about having an efficient system that works, and then understanding how nutrition plays into it, and understanding how to not get injured. And then the things start to happen. Okay. We look at every man like you are potentially this incredible mansion. We can build a mansion out of you. Okay. A beautiful, beautiful, crazy, skyscraping mansion. Okay. Top of the line, everything. But first we got to get your foundation right. So first we start with the foundation and then we build the mansion.
What is the biggest challenge men over 40 going through the days?
They think that they don't have what it takes to make that change. And the truth is they do have what it takes. They just need the right coach, the right system, and the right narrative inside their own mind.
And why do you think that men in their 40s are, well, let me ask you differently. Do you believe that there is like what's called like a breakup after 40, or like a second level kind of thing? Like I hear people saying like they have like a mental breakout after like age 40
or a midlife crisis?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Midlife crisis?
What is your take on that?
Yeah, a lot of men when they're hitting late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, they kind of wake up, have that midlife crisis and go, whoa, what happened to me? I look, I'm 42 and I look 52. I'm 42, I look 62. What happened to me? Yeah, it happens all the time because it's all connected. What we eat, how we live, how we move, how we think, how we see ourselves, it's all so connected. So the trick is to not say, well, my 40s are the end. Rather, my 40s are the beginning.
So you see that people like, Trump and other like very, very successful people, over 80 years old, just incredible people. And sometimes you see people that are 40 that it feels like they're 80. Why is it that way?
Because they let themselves slip. They just kept letting themselves go. They kept saying, yeah, to another happy hour. Yeah, to another late night food. Yeah, to another, boozy brunch. Yeah, to another, okay, I'll eat my kids' French fries. There's just a few. Yeah, to another, my wife wants to do this, so sure, whatever. Okay, and they lose themselves on the way. They got to stop losing themselves because it compounds, it builds. And where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if you're focusing on the wrong things and you've become habitual to eating the wrong things, to living the wrong way, all of a sudden it compounds. And next thing you know, you're in your 40s, but you feel like you're in your 80s.
So you're saying that the small things, like the small stuff of like, hey, you saw that cake, you ate it. You saw that pizza, you ate it. Sometimes the biggest change comes if you just stop the small things.
It can, absolutely. Look, every single person has either a caloric deficit, caloric maintenance, or a caloric surplus, meaning where do you stand in terms of how your day-to-day calorie burn is, okay? So everybody's got their own. It's just based on living, okay? That would be calorie maintenance or caloric maintenance. If you are consuming less calories than your maintenance, you will lose some fat. If you are consuming more than your calorie maintenance, you're going to be in a surplus and you're going to gain weight. Most men are gaining 1 or 2 pounds a year, not even knowing. And by the way, Tom, you don't have to be that much of a huzzer to be gaining 1 or 2 pounds. Okay, but do the math. What's 2 pounds times 10? That's 20 pounds. So imagine that in 10 years, he's now 20 pounds heavier. What happens in 20 years? He's 40 pounds heavier. And all he did was eat his kids' leftovers, putting him in a slight caloric surplus, coupled with not moving enough. And the reality that bone density starts to shrink, muscle mass starts to go. And next thing you know, by the time he's 60 or 55, he looks like crap and he feels like crap. And he wasn't even this big huzzer who was like, eating and drinking all the time. No, he just did a little calorie surplus every day. So we got to understand, where are we in terms of what's my calorie maintenance? And then what am I doing? Am I picking at this, picking at that? Is that putting me at a few hundred calories over every single day of my life?
Do you believe that people over the age of 30 or just 20 or whatever, just people in general, when they see other men that look good inside them, it's automatically make them want to look better, or it's not really the case?
I think looking good and being fit is somewhat of a currency today. Absolutely. It's a bit of like a business card. If you're fit and dialed in and you walk in with confidence and you kind of demand, respect and control the room just by being you, not in like a douchey way, just by being you.
Yeah.
They definitely admire it. Look, we're in 2026. The world is waking up. Health and wellness is no longer a small subset. It is mainstream. Okay?
Huge.
So people are all aware of this now, and it is very common to say, I want some of what that guy's having. I want some of that. And it's developing a really positive sense of motivation for a lot of people.
From what you saw in your life, if you can give one tip to somebody that is not happy with the way that they look, what would that be?
If you're not happy with the way that you look, or you're not happy with anything in your life, please know that nothing is permanent, okay? What got you here is also completely changeable starting today, okay? So you can change anything you want starting today. The hardest part in life is deciding to make the decision. Once you've made the decision, it's actually quite simple. All you have to do now is start living in that decision, okay? And it's not intimidating once you're on the inside. It's hard looking at the inside from the outside, saying, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I get there? But once you jump in and you go, okay, this is who I'm going to be. This is my new lifestyle. The universe rewards you. You start to see the right signs. You start to get the right support. You start to attract the right people. And next thing you know, you look back. I got so many clients, and me too included. We look back at how we used to live and we say, how was I living like that? It's unbelievable. This way of living is so much better.
So there's definitely a correlation between being happy and enjoying your life to your health.
Happiness and health go hand in hand, 100%. Because the other way, which is happiness and unhealthy living, while it might be fun while you're eating that thing or while you're getting drunk, it might be fun for a bit.
For maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, the next day, it is not.
If somebody watching you right now and he wants to get in the best shape of his life, what is that 3 simple steps they can take today together?
Number 1, let's remember, why do you want it? Okay, let's connect to your why. Now we tap in with control, with vigor, with strength and confidence and conviction. And then we start to make the plan for you. We got to make that plan so that you have that roadmap to get to where you want to go. And then we set up your routine to enable you to stick to that roadmap.
I love it. Julian, what a pleasure, man.
You too.
Really happy, enjoyed, the conversation. We all learned a lot from you. How can people find you if they want to get better, if they want to get in shape? Tell us more about, your program. Just give us like 30-second viewpoint on what is it that you do.
100%. So look, it took me about 20 years to get into the shape that I'm in today and to live this way easily. I don't have to work that hard. It's quite simple. Seriously, I work out less hard in my 40s than I did in my 20s and 30s, and I'm in way better shape. Okay? So I built Fit Founder Over 40, also known as FFit40, which is ffit40.com. For anyone who wants to check us out, I built it to be the last health and fitness system that a man in his late 30s plus would ever need. I want to teach guys how to become their own trainers, their own coaches, their own nutritionists, their own mindset experts. Okay? So that's why we built the system. Once you learn it, you're set for life. You never need another one.
Love it.
Guys who want to learn more or wives who want to get their men in shape, okay? We get a lot of wives who contact us first.
Make sure to check it out.
ffit40.com, Julian Brass.
Yeah, on Instagram, right?
On Instagram, Julian Brass, yeah. And
amazing, bro.
Yeah, we're here to change lives. We got a whole world of amazing Jewish men that are our clients, and they're becoming lions day in, day out.
Let's do it, man. Julian, what a pleasure. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really enjoyed this episode, and hope you took a lot. Tips and just the way that how you can think, how you can change your life starting today. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments who should I interview next. And Julian, thank you so much.